And welcome back to the NeverBoard gaming community in Spring Hill, Florida. We've got round 2 from the Store Championship, aka the Liliana tournament, aka the... I was going to say something of the Veil, but I am not Don King. I cannot come up with these. I cannot come up with these very good promotional names.
Well, let's get ready to rumble.
Whatever you call this tournament, we've got Michael Norbut on John going up against Anthony Marino with Affinity. Both of these two very good players.
Yeah, Norbit, not really a guy who needs another Liliana, as we will see in his Jund build.
Yeah, I think he's already got a playset. But he's in this tournament anyway because he loves Modern, and so does Anthony Marino. He's been on this Affinity deck forever. He's been borrowing some decks recently, but Affinity is the one that he owns for himself.
He tends to love the aggression strategies. Even in Standard, he's playing the mono red.
Yeah.
Good start here from him. Ooh, and the turn 1 Overseer.
That's going to be hard for Norbit to fight around.
Man, that's a troublesome board. Shows in the hand. I think you get the Signal Pest here, right?
Yeah, the Springleaf Drum is going to be irrelevant at this point because Marino's already got all the mana he needs. That turn 1 Mox Opal always strong. And he top decks Mem Knight. So Marino already, his hand is empty. He's going to tap this Steel Overseer to pump his team, swing in for 1 with the Ornithopter.
I mean, it's not Affinity's fastest start, but it's pretty good pace here. Eventually, he'll start to get in trouble if he finds an Arcbound Ravager or something.
Yeah, he will keep getting exponential returns off the Steel Overseer. That is, if Norbit did not already have that terminate. So now Marino's going to have to find some other way to generate some potent offense, be that a Cranial Plating or perhaps Arcbound Ravager.
Yeah, those are the two cards he's pulling for right now, but living off the top of his deck is not the best feeling against Jund, but it is going to kind of neutralize some of their hand disruption spells.
Yeah, hand disruption is not a thing you want to have in this particular matchup. Not a thing you want to have in most fast matchups altogether. But Norbit is kind of stuck with it for reasons that have to do with the possible mid-range matchup. And control, of course. So, you mentioned Marino pilots mono-red aggro and standard. That deck has to feel extra good to play right now, right? In light of the GP in Seattle that just happened. Gan Lan going 18-0.
What?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
That actually happened. Everybody's talking about it.
With mono red?
With mono red.
Holy smokes. Well, it's a very consistent deck. It does one thing. It has one game plan.
Just do a lot of damage very fast.
I'd like to see if his sideboard has anything interesting, because I find a lot of the times in those long tournaments, that's where a lot of the consistency comes from in the wins.
True. Statistically, you are playing more sideboard games than you are mainboard games. Anyway, Marino does find the Cranial Plating, hooking it up to Ornithopter. Going to take Norbit down to 5. That Tarmogoyf suddenly not looking as scary.
Just needs a Fatal Push, something along those lines.
Kolagon's command would be great here. Inquisition taking out the Galvanic Blast before he can...
That matters.
Yeah, because he would have died to that if even if he had taken away the Cranial Plating. But now he's got the Abrupt Decay in hand for the plating. I think you just leave Tarmogoyf up to block the Midnight.
Plays his land here yet. Passes his turn over. He's going to wait to respond a little more trickily.
His life total is already so low that even setting off fetch lands is dangerous. Vault Scourge. There's the block, and there's the Abrupt Decay. Cranial Plating going to get taken out. Ornithopter will only get in for 1 damage.
Really nice decision there to destroy that.
It was the only decision, otherwise he was going to die. Vault Scourge going to get promoted to the front line. That flying is going to matter because that's a 2-turn clock still. Norbit's got to find some kind of answer. Again, Kolagon's command would be fantastic here because that would leave Marino with just mana, and
Yeah,
that's
hanging
it.
on by the skin of his teeth here. There are not many outs, and even if he does find it, it'll be hard to chug all the way back from 18 to 3.
Well, he's got Bloodbraid Elf in his hand, so presumably he'll cast it and see if he can find...
Spin the wheel.
Yep, something, anything to get him out of this
Oh
board
man,
state.
to the K command, how amazing would that be?
He's
going for it.
That would be the bomb play here. Let's see if he's got it. Bloodbraid Elf cascading into Kolagon's command. There it is.
Gosh.
Vault Scourge and Ornithopter are going to go to the grave.
Fortunate right here. Norbit bringing the hype plays. Spin to win.
Fortune favors the bold, and Norbit looking very bold. Suddenly, he's got the advantage. He's in the driver's seat with this Tarmogoyf and Bloodbraid Elf. And Marino living off the top deck, not playing whatever card he just drew.
Didn't find much.
Looks
All he
visibly
is
upset now with
one
his hand
bolt
motions.
away. Show him the bolt.
Does Norbit have the bolt? Nobody's got scavenging ooze, so he's going to be able to recover his life if for some reason the game were to extend.
Oh man, that's... Oh, finds a land.
Blinkmoth Nexus, that'll let him block something, but is it too late? Etch Champion, that'll let him block something, but again, is it too... I don't... You know what? No, Marino's dead.
Marino is dead.
There's no way out of this, no matter how he blocks.
He eats a bunch of stuff. Maybe Marino's just being nice for this game.
I think he's just letting Norbit have his moment of glory here.
The spin to win coming through. I cannot believe it.
Kolagon's command.
Is that literally the only card that saved him? Oh, and he gets the bolt too.
As if he even needed it. Oh my goodness. Norbit just turned things around immediately off of that Bloodbraid Elf. And
Never
he takes
surrender.
game one.
Never surrender, peeps.
Especially in a deck like Jund, which is very, very good at coming back from behind. It's $2,000 for a reason.
Yeah, seriously. The value is real. Man, once the game once that deck grinds you down to the late game, you just feel helpless against it a lot of times.
Yeah, you see his sideboard right now. He's definitely going to bring in the Ancient Grudges, probably the Damnation as well.
Do we see him drop the bolts right there? No way.
No. He's looking at his sideboard right now. He hasn't reached for his main board yet. He took the Ancient Grudges. He's looking at the Anger of the Gods too. That's also a good card.
Oh yeah, bring it in.
Meanwhile, Marino, I see only a token here. I'm trying to discern what he's bringing in. I think he just boarded in Whip Flare to take care of the Bloodbraids and also, like, Dark Confidant, I suppose.
Wonder what technology's good here for him. I think he normally runs things like a Collected Company in his build of Affinity. Which I don't think will be as good here, just going to be a target for a Thoughtseize or an Inquisition, unless they get boarded out.
They definitely get boarded out. This is going to be one of those rope-a-dope moves if Marino brings in a card like Collected Company, although I would debate whether it's actually any good in Affinity, because the creatures in Affinity by themselves are not that good. It's the fact that they can get pumped.
Truly.
That makes them dangerous. Like, Etch Champion by himself is just a 2-2 that can't be targeted, can't be blocked. Etch Champion with a cranial plating attached, scariest thing in the game.
Truly. Yeah, it's really messed up. Extra copies of Etched are probably going to fill up some slots here, I'd imagine, if he has 2 more or so.
Yeah, because that just straight up wins a trade with a Bloodbraid Elf.
There are options like Thoughtcast, which might be nice for replenishing your hand against the kind of grindy nature of Jund.
I can't remember if Marino even has Thoughtcast in his deck. I know he's got Galvanic Blasts.
Yeah. I'd usually prefer that because it matches the aggro strategy of this, but it might not be as strong against Jund.
It depends on whether Jund finds its answers. And, Marino had kind of a fast start, but we noted earlier that it was definitely one of his slower fast starts because the big gas that he found, the big form of offense that he found was that Steel Overseer. That's the slowest of its big 2 drops. And Arcbound Ravager would have been strictly better.
Yeah, an Ink Moth earlier in that game might have made a big difference too, but he was not able to find it.
Yeah, poison damage is always a nice backup plan.
I think that's where most of their quickest kills actually come from in Affinity.
Yeah, we've seen Affinity kill on turn 2 with that
That's insane.
Inkmoth Nexus.
Look at him pulling him off the top of the card deck like a Yu-Gi-Oh character. Marino over there.
Where are their dual discs?
I know, seriously. He's got his little star chips in his bracelet there.
Turn 1 Signal Pest. Pretty slow start for Marino because he didn't find a drum or an opal.
Or if he did, he didn't have enough ways to get it active. So
yeah, no Cheerios. You don't like to see a no Cheerio hand. Fortunately for Anthony Marino, he is going first, so he's got time. I think Norbit's already got the Damnation in his hand.
Oh boy.
So he's got a few outs. He's got a Lightning Bolt as well, I think, and an Anger of the Gods too. He's set up. He's got all kinds of defense. He's got an Abrupt Decay, I think.
Yeah, this game is definitely going to be a grind. Oh, Anger of the Gods, jeez.
Okay, so now Marino plays an Opal because he's also got Darksteel Citadel as a land play. So he just led with the Inkmoth Nexus first to make sure it could attack this turn. That's smart.
Looks like he's just going to go in for the... No.
No, he's going to tap 3. Does he have Etched Champion? No, that's Master of Ethereum. That's going to come in as a 4/4.
All right. Ooh, Bolt in the Pest. Okay.
No reason for the Pest to swing there, but Norbit going to bolt it nonetheless. Oh, actually, no, there was a reason.
+1, yeah.
It was +1 for the Master of Ethereum. That's right. I keep forgetting. He also pumps the team.
He's the Lord of Artifacts.
The Lord of Artifacts, who's as big as your artifacts.
Oh, man. Norbit must feel pretty comfortable with this hand right now. Just sitting there, like, even if Marino swarms the board, he has 2 levels of board wipes available.
Mm-hmm. Good luck, I'm hiding behind 7 proxies. And another Darksteel Citadel, and Etch Champion's going to come out. Nestor here, I'm going to get pumped right back to a 5-5. Swinging in. Norbit's got the answer, though. Ancient Grudge. Now, if he can find a green source, he'll be able to flash that back and pick off something else. Maybe not the Opal so much, because that's not really relevant now that Marino's showing 3 lands, but... Oh, maybe it could be. It depends on whether or not Marino top decks a Spire of Industry or Glimmerblade later.
Truly.
Because that'll cut him off from colored sources of mana, but... Otherwise, not much point in aggressively going after this Opal. And Etch Champion looking pretty safe with those 2 indestructible lands behind him.
But even Etch Champion isn't going to survive the board wipes. I imagine he's going to opt to, like, invite Marino to extend the board a little bit more before he decides to do anything.
Yeah, I think if you're in Norbit's position, because I didn't see like a Kolagon's Command or any other 3-drops of his hand, but I think you bluff like you have it. Wait for him to extend. Let the Etch Champion come through for 1 turn with the damage, and then just drop the Damnation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But doesn't even have the 4th land for Damnation. I think he might actually have a Kolagon's Command in his hand. Looks like he does. Marino just finding another land. It's a Blinkmoth Nexus, though. It's not nothing. That'll pump the Inkmoth Nexus. Arcbound Ravager. That'll make Damnation way more powerful, actually, because there's no way to...
No saving it.
Yeah. Activate Inkmoth. Swing with that in the Etch. I think you just take it. Or maybe not. Maybe Norbit's thinking about launching that K command. No, he's going to flashback Ancient Grudge. Inkmoth does turn into an artifact.
Ooh, good call.
That's going to get sacked to Arcbound Ravager to pump it. Norbit will take 2 from the Etch Champion. So almost a 14.
All right, let's see. Does he find a land here?
I don't know. I can't tell. I don't think he did. He's got Liliana. Liliana's not going to help here, though. Because Marino just snapsacks Arcbound Ravager, puts the counters right onto Etch Champion.
Can you do it that
way?
way?
He does. He does have
okay.
the Bloodstained Mire. And no, it's not that he's sacking Arcbound Ravager to itself. He'd be sacking Arcbound Ravager to Liliana's effect.
Okay.
So yeah, the modular would totally still work that way. But
it says target player sacrifices creature. You can target Arcbound and then sack him for his own effect?
no. It says target player sacrifices a creature.
Okay.
So if you're targeted and you've got an Arcbound Ravager and you sacrifice that, the modular will still go off. But it looks like Norbit will be tapping out for this Damnation. I thought for a second maybe he did not have the 4th land, but he was just taking a second to think about his play, see if he had anything more. Norbit always very cautious, very conservative that way. But yes, this is a good time to launch the Damnation.
Yeah, that is a bit of a blowout at the moment. I think Marino's sitting there with only 1 card in hand.
Wishing it was a Spell Pierce. That's one of Hootie Hoo's tricks. He's got Spell Pierce in his sideboard.
That's a funny one. Oh, man. See, the thing about Affinity, it needs a lot of cards like with synergy together to be threatening, and once it gets pushed to this mid-range grind, it doesn't seem as powerful.
Nope, it's only strong when it goes fast. If it's not going fast, it's not going to win. At least it has a very low chance of winning. With only the Blinkmoth Nexus to attack with, he's going to be losing this race to Norbit.
Ooh, and now he's going to drop that card out of his hand most likely.
Yep. +1 Liliana. Marino's only got the 1 thing to discard, but he's going to cast it in response. Must be a Galvanic Blast. And it's going to take Liliana out.
Alright, that's definitely the right play there.
Yeah. Norbit's still hiding
There's a
behind.
Bloodbraid in his hand.
He's still got Bloodbraid. He's got Anger of the Gods. I think that's still Kolagon's Command.
Ooh, he just animates, attacks, drops the Memnite, and that's all for the turn.
He needs Cranial Plating to even have a shot at taking Norbit down. He is at 11 life. Norbit's at 11 life. Marino's still at 20.
When a man land?
Ah, Kolagon's Command again.
Ouch.
We saw it was in his hand earlier.
This 2-for-1, man.
He's always waiting for that 2-for-1. You don't want to launch it too soon. You want to hold on to it until the last possible moment. And now that the Blinkmoth Nexus is gone, Marino out of gas. Going to have to use this Galvanic Blast to take out
the man land.
Yeah. He does have Metalcraft, but just barely.
Still looking pretty grim. 3 cards to 1. One of being a Bloodbraid Elf, which is going to kind of net him even more value.
Yeah, normally you don't want to cast Bloodbraid Elf into an empty board, but sometimes you just have to do that to get the offense going. I think Norbit just top decked another land.
And you're right, he wants to save that value. I guess him being at 20, it doesn't really present a threatening clock.
Vault Scourge and Arcbound Ravager.
Huh, so he held back a turn and decided not to play one of them.
Norbit thinking about using that Lightning Bolt. He does. Get the Vault Scourge out. Sack it to Arcbound Ravager. No, he's not going to sack it to Arcbound Ravager.
I think it was during the cast of...
oh, yeah. Yeah, I think there was a timing issue there. The judge must have made a call.
Yeah, I got to give your opponents a chance to respond. Can't just slap them both down.
Can't do that. Not when you're on camera. Not anymore. We've had crises like this come up before with timing and rules. This is why we have a table judge at all times now. We've had 2 table judges at this tournament. One of them is Theo Cadide. The other is Kevin Van Dyke. Neither of them played in this tournament. They opted to be table judges.
Huge thank you to these gentlemen. Amazing. And without Theo, this Lily tournament would not have been possible.
Literally. All right, I think Norbit's going to finally drop this Bloodbraid Elf.
It's time. All right, let's see what spicy juice he can find this time.
Liliana.
Wow, okay. That happens. I didn't even think of
The lady
that.
of the hour herself taking out this
Holy
Arcbound Ravager.
smokes.
Bloodbraid Elf going to have a clean...
How did I
field.
never consider that you can cascade into Lily? That's messed up, dude.
That's one of the main reasons to play this deck, is the fact that you can cascade into a Planeswalker.
Oh my goodness gracious. That feels good. So he gets a K command in game 1. Variance on Norbit's side. Probably good karma for his very polite playing.
Playmat next is going to take Liliana back down to 1. But Marino with no creature to play. And another Bloodbraid Elf.
one.
What's going to happen now? Tarmogoyf.
Gosh. And suddenly the clock is more real. There's a ton of card types in the grave during this match right now. This thing's probably going to be a 6-7.
Sorcery, artifacts, instants, land, creature.
I was right. Good guess.
Yeah. Because there was a Liliana earlier. So yeah, that is exactly 6. Only enchantment and tribal are missing.
Oh, man. Feels bad to be in Affinity right now. Like, there's literally no top deck to save you.
Settle the wreckage?
Oh, my gosh.
That'd be funny, right?
Don't call it again.
No, he's not going to have it. I think this is game.
Does he have the bolt? Oh, no.
He's going to... Well, it's not game because Tarmogoyf's going to get chump blocks. The Bloodbraids are going to get through for 6 and take Marino to 2. Marino discarding that superfluous Mox Opal. Pass turn. I think he's just bluffing here. There's no way.
Marino being nice for the stream, giving Norbit his moment of glory.
Activate Mox Opal. Tap Glimmer Void for mana. Yeah. Yeah.
Flash in Signal Pest.
Yeah. I knew it. I mean,
he always likes to go for the tension. Likes to make his opponent think, what is happening? But excellent fight. Norbit's going to take it 2-0. I guess we see why Jund is so powerful against a lot of the aggro strategies. You really can't assemble much synergy on your board when a deck runs like probably 12 removal spells at a certain point.
Sometimes more. I mean, it really depends on the game state, what they sideboard in. And, you know, Norbit's not the only Jund player we have here. We also have John Jupson, who plays a lot more removal and less threats than Norbit does.
Truly. I think Norbit has a really nice balance of threats and removal.
Absolutely. I think his is the optimal one, actually. I mean, I'm not taking away anything from Jupson. If you want to play a more control-y variant of Jund, go ahead. You know, play your heart's desire. But I like having a lot of threats, personally, in my mid-range builds.
Awesome. Well, guys, Alex and I hope you enjoyed that match. Please tune in, like, comment, subscribe for more NeverBoard content. And if you keep on watching, you'll get to see who takes the Store Championship Grand Finals.
More action from the Liliana Modern Tournament coming your way.